Thank you guys for tuning in to TGM Television. This is Maximize Your Life with Pastor Marcus. It's so good to see you at this time. Whatever time you logging on, it's nighttime here for us. Thank you, my TGM Bible study, for coming through tonight. Thank you, my Facebook Live listeners. It's good to see you guys once again. What we do here at Maximize Your Life is we take the Bible and we lift principles, whether stated directly or indirectly, and we give you tools, ways to apply them practically in your life. There is nothing that is discussed on Maximize Your Life unless it can be applied to life. The Bible is not just a book, it is a guide to a happy and fulfilling life. And it is my job, it is my intention to give all of us the tools to lead us to happy and healthy lives. So tonight we are going right back. We're going to finish up what we did finish last week. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1 through 3. Hopefully we'll be able to get through everything tonight. And the topic of tonight's lesson is, I want you to say this after me: I have to keep going. I have to keep going. All right, say it one more time. I have to keep going. I have to keep going. All right, that is the topic for tonight's lesson. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1 through 3. And I'm going to read it out loud. You guys can follow along silently. Therefore, we also, this is the King James Version, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses coming from chapter 11, you can get that from last week. I kind of touched on it a little bit. Let us lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily ensnares or besets us, and let us run with patience or endurance the race that is set before us, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and he sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him, I like the way this Bible reads, verse number 3. Consider him who endured such hostility from sinners against himself. Anytime you become weary and discouraged or faint in your mind. That is just encouragement to keep going. To the Hebrews that were struggling. Last week, where we ended on the pruning. We were talking about verse number 1, laying aside every weight and the sin. And we dealt with that last week, so I'm not going to really touch on that this week. But I will come in where we ended out last week about God sometimes pruning us. About God sometimes pruning us, those things off of us that hinder us from being all that we can be. You may be bearing fruit, and I want us to get this. You may be bearing fruit, but our job as Christians is not to just come as we are. We can't stay as we come. We are supposed to grow. And so you may be bearing fruit, but there comes a time where you go from bearing little fruit to much fruit. It's in John chapter 15. And so what God does is, sometimes when we start to bear fruit, we get complacent. Okay, I'm doing good. You know, I can give $5 extra after my tithes. Or, you know, I'm not slapping people like as much as I used to. So we feel good about it, but we get stuck right there. And so what God has to do sometimes is he has to prune us, laying aside every weight and the sin. We have the responsibility to prune ourselves. That's what we ended up last week. And I want to kind of go back there, because why is it important that the pruning process has to take place? It has to take place so that we can focus. Lay aside every weight and sin so that you can focus on what? The race. Let us run with patience the race. I want you to understand something about what the text is saying here. If there is something, and I like the way I put it, that so easily besets us, picture running as fast as you can in a race and getting sidetracked because you look in the stands and you trip on something while you're running. I want you to get something. The understanding is that we have to be mindful of the things that we have hooked onto us, the habits that we entangle ourselves with, the people that we entangle ourselves with that so easily beset us, so that you can focus on the race. A pruning is necessary because the cutting away removes the distraction so that you can what? Focus. I want us to get that. I want us to get that so much, because as long as there is a sin, or as long as there is a weight, You will never be able to engage the power of focus. I want you to get that. You will never be able to engage the power of focus as long as there is a prevalent sin or a prevalent weight. And I want you to understand something about the devil. The devil's job is not always to destroy you. I want you to get it. His job is not always to destroy you, but his job is always to distract you. This is what my granddad used to say. If you like beans, he ain't gonna bring you no rice. He know exactly how to package it. He know exactly how to bring it to you to make you get off of what it is that you know you should be on. And this is how the devil works. The devil works not, he comes to what? Steal, to kill, and to destroy. And we look at the kill and destroy, but we don't look at the steal. How does the devil steal? He steals your time. How does he steal your time? He have you looking at something, right, that you should not even be bothering with. And why? It's not to stop you. It's just that if he can get you looking at something else for 5 minutes, have you ever done this? I'm going to look at my notifications on Facebook. And I'm going to just look real quick. Come on. Yeah. I'm going to look real quick, and you end up doing what? Sitting there. And it starts just, see, this is what I want us to understand. It's the same way. The devil does not work to kill and destroy. He looks to steal what? Your time. And see, this is why I encourage people, when it's time for you to focus, and this is what I have to do a lot of times. If I'm going in, if it's time for me to study, if it's time for me to work, I got to turn that phone completely on silent. Because you know why? I might miss a good idea or a good opportunity because I'm distracted on my phone. And see, this is what we got to get. The devil works to distract our mind. The pruning process is necessary because if you remove the distractions, you have the power and the time to focus. I want us to get that. The power of focus. He says, lay aside every weight and the sin and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. I want us to get that we are going to, if you want anything significant to come out of your life, you are going to have to engage in the power of focus. I want you to get that. You are going to have to engage in the power of focus. What does the devil do? He'll sometimes use things to entice us. Now, here's what he do. For those of us who are actually trying to move forward, for those of us who are actually trying to progress, now, for those of us who are actually trying to do something with our lives, they're trying to go forward, what he'll do is he'll get you to focus on what you're going through as opposed to where you're going. I want you to understand that. He'll get you focused so much on what you're going through that you forget where you're going. And I want to say this to all of us in here tonight. There is going to come a time that you are going to have to sacrifice who and what you are for where you're trying to go. What is that saying? What did I say? There were times that I had to take a job that I had to take because I wanted to be the kind of man that is going to stand up and take care of my children. So because I understand what I'm trying to do, I don't mind taking the sacrifice right here because I see where I'm trying to go. And I can't get entangled with focusing on I'm not making enough money. I got to do the best with what I got until I can do better. And I want us to get this. We cannot get stuck looking at what we're going through. We have to learn to retrain our mind to focus on where we're going. Where are you going tonight? What are you focused on? What are you focused on? What you're going through, or are you focused on where you're going? I want y'all to say this after me. Tony Robbins, he said this the best. He said, where your focus goes, your energy flows. Say that. Where my focus goes, my energy flows. If you are focused on your circumstance, you are going to be entangled in your circumstance. If you are, I want you to get it. If you are focused on the distraction, all your energy is going to go into the distraction. If you're looking at the negative, all your energy is going to go into the negative. And this is what I love the way Paul said, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are good report. He says, think on these things. What is that? Focus on these things, because where your focus goes, your energy flows. If you spend time thinking about where you're trying to go, all your energy, I want us to get that tonight. The power of Focus, focus, focus. Say that. I got to focus.
I got to focus.
Focus my mind. Focus my efforts. Focus my intention. I love the way the writer said it. He says, looking unto Jesus. Looking unto Jesus. Now, this is what I'm going to do, and I love doing this. We're not going spiritual tonight. We ain't talking about Jesus being the Son of God. We're going to leave that for Sunday morning because, Sunday, that's Easter. Everybody going to take Jesus to the cross. I ain't going to even go spiritual. Let's go natural right here. He says, looking unto Jesus. What do you mean looking unto Jesus? From a natural physical standpoint, I can look at Jesus and I can make him my example. In what way? Jesus did something in his time that basically the only thing that Jesus did. Why was Jesus crucified? He was crucified for standing against the time, what was prevalent in the time. They had a religious system that it was okay to treat people wrong and benefit from them because they came to church. Jesus comes on the scene and says, hey, wait a minute. If y'all really belong to God, y'all would care about these people who y'all dealing with. And Jesus took a stand. His stance of faith was, I know what I know about God. And God is not pleased with what y'all do. In other words, I'm going to say it like this. Jesus, to me, became my champion because he had the courage to stand against what was prevalent in the day to the point of death. This ain't got nothing to do with him being the Son of God. This is just about him standing on what's right. I want us to get this, that sometimes you doing what you're supposed to do is going to put you in a tight situation. What if doing the right thing? Now, here's the story of Joseph. He didn't sleep with the man's wife, but he still ended up going to jail. How is that okay? Because sometimes us as Christians, when you decide to stand for right, it is not always going to put you in a favorable circumstance. But here's the thing tonight. He says, consider Jesus unless you get weary and faint in your mind. Consider a man who decides I'm going to stand on what's right. No matter if everybody else is saying what's wrong, I'm going to stand on what's right. No matter if they get mad at me, I'm going to stand on it. Here's what Jesus did. He stood on what he believed to the point of death. He spoke, acted, and showed what nobody else had the courage to do during those times. Here's my question to us. When he says looking unto Jesus, is what he was talking to, he's talking to the Hebrews who are struggling to live right, struggling to do right. Here's what I said last week. It is hard to do right when everybody is doing you wrong. It's hard to speak right when everybody else is speaking wrong. It's hard to stand on truth when everybody else is going along with lies. And here's what the writer says. Look unto Jesus when you start getting weary. When you start getting discouraged because everybody else is doing wrong, think of all of the stuff that Jesus endured just by standing on what was right. Here's my thing for us tonight. When I say to us looking unto Jesus, I don't want us to get caught up on the spiritual side. Everybody, I don't want us to get caught up on that. I want us to get caught up on the kind of man who decides, you know what, I know what it is that I'm supposed to do, and I'm going to do it no matter what. Here's the way I want to say it. Are we conditional Christians or are we committed Christians? Are we conditional or are we committed? If everybody else in the room is saying one thing and you know it's right to say something different, are you going to go with everybody else because that's where you are, or are you going to stand on what's right? And I want us to get this because sometimes in our lives, we have times that God puts us in situations where our faith is tested to the point that we are going to be in unfavorable circumstance. He says, when you start getting weary in your mind, think of Jesus, the man who, look, he does nothing wrong to nobody except speak truth and speak right. All of y'all people in here, y'all saying y'all belong to God, but yet at the same time, y'all stealing from church members. Y'all say y'all belong to God, but y'all talking to people all incorrect. Y'all treating people like this. God don't act like that. And because he had the courage to stand, right? They decided we're going to kill this man. He's starting up a riot. You know how people do. He's going against the common movement. And this is what the writer says. The writer says, I want you to envision in your mind when you start getting weary, for all of us, when you're ready to go off on somebody, when you're ready to go back to your old ways, when you're ready to quit, when you're ready to turn around, think about a man who just decided to stand on what was right. It ain't got nothing to do with him being the Son of God. Let's say he wasn't even the Son of God. And we believe that he is, but let's just say that he wasn't. Jesus comes on the scene preaching and teaching what was morally correct. He was in oneness with God, and he said to all the people who said to him, if you really belong to God, show him in how you treat somebody else. If you really belong to God, show him in how you talk to somebody else. He said, when you get weary and faint in your minds, consider Jesus. Look, it fell again. He's trying to get them to understand the importance of commitment, the importance of endurance. Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
So of course it started a big commotion or whatever. So the lady walked by me. I'm like, oh, this wouldn't have happened. We ain't never had no problems like this before you got here. Well, wait a minute. If this is supposed to be a teamwork,
right? Everybody work together as a team. That's right.
So after a while, she, her and the other lady started.
Right, getting.
But then it's just like, yeah, attitude about it. Right. This is a team.
Right.
And, that was just the whole thing. And everybody was just like, no. I'm like, you want me to do this, and you going out there still shaking out trash.
Yeah.
And all they doing is a little bit over there, wash a dish to talk 3 hours. Wash a dish to talk 3 hours. But
that's not a team. Right. See, and you know what? That's the whole issue. That's the whole. And see, that's my thing. And I want us to get this because I am not against church at all. I am not against preachers at all. I am not against the religious movement at all. Here's what I don't like. I don't like people who claim to love God, but at the same time don't show that in their character. Don't show that in how they deal with people. Don't show that in how they love people. I have a big problem with people who claim that they love God but don't teach and speak truth. They are conditional to the moment. If it fits me now, then I'm going to speak on it. But if it don't fit me, then I'm not going to speak on it. No, brother, that's not a God movement. That's a religious movement. And I want us to understand that. The understanding is that when you start talking about doing stuff the way that God intends, and here's the thing, when you have a group of people, and this is what Jesus was dealing with, there is a group of people who basically run the city, run the country, but they do religion this way. And then you come on the scene, I come on the scene with my real heart, and I say, well, God, did you see they just stole this lady's money? Did you see that they told this lady if she put in $1,000 that she was going to get a blessing? God, did you see that? And he put you in there and you feeling some type of way. What are you supposed to do? Me, Marcus Stewart, I'm going to go and say something. No, it is not right. And that's the understanding. The understanding is that Jesus had the courage to speak up and stand on what was right to the point of death. I want you all to consider your life. Consider everything that you have going in your life right now. And if somebody, and it ain't got nothing to do with downside or professing that you're a Christian or not, because maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't, but here's what I would not do. What I will not do is I will not compromise my character. I will not compromise my character because I stand for something. And I'm willing to die for what I believe in. And this is the understanding. He says, if you haven't suffered and died to the point of death, you really shouldn't be complaining. You got a little bit more to go. You know what I'm saying? I want us to get there. He says endure. He wants us to understand that commitment is going to take endurance. Say that. Commitment is going to take endurance. It's going to take some endurance. It's going to take some endurance. Everybody that want to see yourself being somewhere else, you got a goal that you're trying to reach. Let me see your hand. If you got a goal that you're trying to reach, it is not going to happen without some endurance. Here's what I want us to get. A lot of times, you know what we have, especially nowadays, we have such lazy Christians. We have such unsuccessful Christians. But we talk about that God is a God who owns the cattle of 1,000 hills, and he wants us to be successful, but we lazy. We don't want to get up. We don't want to do nothing with it. God gave you all these gifts and talents and dreams, and you just sitting on them. We lazy. We don't know how to meet deadlines. We don't know how to handle our business. And here's the thing, because we're not committed enough. As long as the circumstance is okay, we all in. As long as the marriage is going okay, we all in. As long as things are going fine, all the bills are paid on time, we all in. But when trouble hit, when trouble hit, and when trouble, see, this is what we don't get. We don't understand what it means to endure. We can take a little pain, but we don't know what it is to endure. This is the first thing I told my son. When he turned 12 years old, my son told me, he said, Dad, I'm ready to go to the next level. I said, son, are you sure? He said, yes. He said, I'm going to push you to your limit. He said, yes. I said, son, I'm going to push you to your limit. He said, yes. I said, son, I'm going to push you to your limit. He said, yes. So you know what I did? I told, all right, we're going to run, son. We're going to do push-ups every day. We're going to do sit-ups every day. I want you to train your mind. I want you to get this tonight because I want you to understand something about endurance. One of the things that I told him, I said, son, I want your mind to be strong. When I say strong-minded, that means this: being able to deal with pain for an extended period of time and still maintain your resolve. Why? He is a young black man. That means you are going to have to work, son. So what I did, I ran and I said, son, tell me when it starts to hurt. And when it started to hurt, I said, son, you got to push through it. And then I told him, I said, son, I feel my second wind. I felt my second wind. He don't know what it is, though. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Dad, it's too hard. It's too hard. I said, son, push through it. Push through it. Push through it. Dad, it's too hard. Dad, it's too hard. Son, push through it. And you know what happened? Once he realized that once you get through that initial hit of pain, it actually gets easier. Oh, come on. See, this is what we do. We want God to bless us without going through no pain. You are going to have to endure it. Every single time we run into a trouble, every single time we run into a challenge, we're ready to quit. We're ready to throw up our hands. We're ready to turn around. We're ready to give up. I want us to understand, say this, I got to keep going. Look, you got to keep going through pain. You got to keep going through heartache. You got to keep going. I decided this: no matter what happens in my life, I'm going to give myself time to grieve. I'm going to give myself time to be sad. But there's going to come a time that I'm going to get up. Whether I feel like it or not, I'm going to move forward. Whether I feel like it or not, I'm going to do what I know I need to do, whether I feel like it or not. Why? Because I've got to keep going. I want us to get this tonight. He says, consider Jesus so that you can keep going. You are not going to reach your goal if you don't keep going. You are not going to be successful if you do not keep going. You are not going to reach it unless you keep going. I want us to get that. It's going to hurt. I had a young man, he said to me, Minister Marcus, I think I'm about ready to quit school. I said, why? He said, man, it is so hard. I got to go to work. I got a son. I'm about to get married. I got bills. I got this. He said, Marcus, what do? I got 2 more years. I said, son, you got to keep going for 2 more years. What you want me to tell you? Like, it's time to quit now. It's time to throw it away. It's time to give up. 2 more years for the rest of your life. You got to learn to go through it. On the other side of pain is promise. I want y'all to understand something about pain. Pain is not designed to stay forever. Pain is only temporary. I heard Eric Thomas, he said that. Pain is only temporary. But here's the thing. The first sign of pain, what do? We quit. We throw it away. God's way don't work. God ain't real. God don't really got my back. I want you to understand something. We have to learn to endure. Endure the pain. Endure it. Endure it. I said this when we first got here tonight. God wants me to learn an entirely new skill set. That's not easy. But guess what? I got to keep going. I got to endure it. I got to go through it. Whatever it is that I got to do to get to where I need to go, that is what I'm going to do. We need to turn on our Christian resolve. Take a licking and keep on ticking. It's going to hurt. It's going to get frustrating. It's going to get tiresome. But we have got to keep going. We got to keep going. Just as God has to prepare your blessing for you, He has to prepare, well, just as God has to prepare your blessing for you, He has to prepare you for your blessing. He got to get you ready. He got to make you tough enough. You think you can manage or be CEO of a company without being resilient? I want us to understand something tonight. Tonight's lesson is to encourage us. Look, we need to understand that it's not going. Who told you it was going to be easy? You know what? This I trip out about my psyche when I was younger because I thought life was just going to come together because I was chocolate, because I was cute, because I could sing a little bit. I thought life was going to just come together for me because I could play the guitar, because God gave me a little word. I thought life was just going to come together. And then when life started getting hard, you know what? I started crying. Oh, God, this is too much. Oh, God, I can't handle it. Oh, God, why are you sending me through this? Oh, God, why are you sending me through that? And then finally, after I did all that crying, God, He let me do all my bawling and crying. And then He said, who told you that it was supposed to be easy? See, we think the text says this, that all things are easy. The text don't say that. It says all things are possible to them that can believe. Why is it necessary for you to believe? Because it's going to be challenging. It's going to be tough. But you got to keep believing because all things are possible to them that can what? Believe. If you can believe and keep going to it, I don't see what I'm going through right now. I see where I'm going. And if you can keep believing where you're going, you'll make the necessary. I gave y'all the example with the chair already. When you have a destination that you're trying to get to, and He says, run with patience. Who said you were supposed to be a millionaire at 25? Who said you were supposed to reach success at the age of 31? Who said that? We put these ridiculous stigmatisms on ourselves and we put ourselves in this box, and when we don't reach it by a certain time, I should be here. Who said you should be there? Run with patience the race that is set before us. I want us to understand tonight that we have to keep going. Stop letting these things discourage us in our mind. This is what He said. Lay aside every weight and the sin so you can focus on the race. It's not going to come tomorrow, but it's going to come. It's not going to come easy, but it's going to come. It's not going to come quickly, but it's going to come. I want you to say that. Let's say that tonight. I've got to keep going. All right. And lastly, I didn't even get to it. But we cannot lose hope. We cannot lose hope. I like to say it like this. We got to learn to keep hope alive. Keep hope alive in our hearts. Keep hope alive in our minds. Keep hope alive. The devil will overwhelm your life with adverse circumstances in order to make you lose hope. But here's the thing. Just because you can't see the results doesn't mean it's not working. That's an encouragement for me. That's an encouragement for me. That's an encouragement for me. Just because you don't see the result that you want to see right now does not mean that it's not working. We have got to learn to keep going. So with that, amen. Thank you guys for tuning in. We at 2712. That is a blessing. I could go further, but you know what? I'm going to let it rest for tonight. Keep going. If you want to be a blessing to our ministry, this is what you do. Share it. That's how you're going to bless us. You share it or let somebody hear it that you believe really needs to hear it. This word is really just to help keep us inspired as Christians. We deal with so much. We go through so much. It is so hard to live a Christian life in the day that we live in a time that we live in. And sometimes we just need to hear that God is still on our side. And I want to tell you something tonight for you, my TGM Bible study crew that's in here. You got to keep going. The blessing is on the other side of the pain. Please go visit our website, thegodmovement.com. Follow me on Instagram at _Minister Marcus. Follow our ministry at _God Movement on Instagram and Twitter. And tune in to our YouTube channel, TGM Television. You guys be blessed. Thank you once again for tuning in. Amen.